So what if Lara Croft was a Pokemon trainer? Or better yet, what if she had her own Pokemon card? But who would be her ace Pokemon? Immediately I can think it's got to be something stealthy and quick. Perhaps a Thievul or a Spidops, maybe a Latios or a Latias since they can go invisible. But all those options seem too easy. Instead, what we're going to do, we're going to let fate decide. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this pack of Pokemon cards, and from this pack, we're going to decide who's going to be Lara's partner Pokemon. Let's go. Alright. Got Psychic Energy, Ladybah, Mindfu, that's a good option, Flittle, Chinchou, Glass Trumpet, Diancie, Area Zero Under Depths, Eevee would be a good option, Gravity Gemstone, and a Raging Bolt. I think we're gonna have to go with one of these ones. These seem to be the most fitting of her character. You know, graceful like an Eevee, but also very spunky and very, very active and fierce like Mindfu. So yeah, I think we're gonna go with the I think it's Mienfoo actually how you pronounce this. I think we're gonna go with the Mienfoo. This is gonna be the card that we're gonna pick as Lara's partner Pokemon for this drawing. Now before we get started with this illustration, my name is Cisco and this is drawing number 2 on my journey to become a Pokemon card illustrator. So if you want to follow me on this quest, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And while you're down there, let me know in the comments section, was Mindful the correct option or would you have gone with a different Pokemon? I really want to know. With all that being said, let's go. So the first thing we started off with is mapping Lara's character. So I got this pose off of Pose Maniacs. It's a website where you can get reference poses, and I wanted to go for a very actiony pose, kind of where she's throwing a kick, and you know, very Tomb Raider style-esque jump and action pose from Lara. Then I went and started sketching Mienfoo. This was a little bit more challenging, and I think I spent more time on Mienfoo than anything because of just the body of Mienfoo. It's very triangular shaped, being very wide at the bottom and narrowing towards the neck and the head. And then I was looking at sprites from the game, but they're not very actiony. They're very still images, and I needed something a little bit more with more personality, more character. So I started referencing some older Pokemon cards from Mienfoo, and yeah, but at the same time I also didn't want to copy those poses, and I wanted to do my own, so I just kind of used them as reference. But it was a better gave a better all-around feel of what Mienfoo's body looks like. Right here he looked a little bit stubby, so I wanted to make him a little bit more elongated at the same time while trying to keep a perspective, like his hind legs are more back. And after I was happy, I went and continued sketching the details now for Lara. I wanted to use the traditional tank top look, but here I kind of regret it because I did make some changes and I think they ended up going for the worse. I might have actually thinned out the arm a little too much and I didn't really like how it looked. I also ended up changing the size of the head later, but I think this looked fine. I don't know why I changed it, and you'll see that later. But right here I was trying to figure out what to do with the hair, whether I was going to do the long, almost flowing hair or the braid. I ended up going with the more modern ponytail from the more recent games. Then typical Cisco fashion, didn't know what to do with the eyes. Normally traditionally in anime and manga, larger eyes are reserved for younger characters, while the more thinner eyes, smaller, are for like older, more mature characters. I was kind of referencing Claire and Cynthia for the eye feel. And yeah, then I started sketching out the mouth and the nose. Gave her a Pokeball because she switches the guns for Pokeballs here. Then started doing my line art. First I did Mienfoo, then I moved on to Lara. Like I said, using that technique of darker, thicker lines for the outlines and smaller, thinner lines for the inside. And then right here, I still wasn't happy with the face, so I went ahead and did more changes. Started changing the eyes and the nose and the mouth position, but I had to settle. I was wasting way too much time. And then this part I had a lot of fun with. This was probably my favorite part of the drawing. If you look at the anime, sometimes the backgrounds are either 3D digital environments, or they're either look like they're been hand painted, and I really like that art style, so I wanted to try something new. This was actually my first time that I'm doing something like this, make it look like a painting. I found some brushes that I liked, and you know, some textures that look like leaves, so that's the kind of brush that I was using to make it look like actual trees. But then you'll see right now that I don't really like the bark of the tree, so I ended up redoing that, and I went with a brush that had a little bit better texture that makes it look more like actual tree bark. So that's what I'm doing here, just redoing it because I was unhappy with it. Typical Cisco not making up his mind. Then I did moss, you know, more background trees and shadows, and then I ended up doing these like ray of lights coming in through the top. Went back to the characters, started dropping some base colors since they are in a forest area. It's a little bit more shadowy, so I wanted to give a darker base color to start off with, and then do more shadows in a little bit more darker tone, depending on the light resources coming from the right side. And then obviously after you do shadows, you also have to complement that with highlights. So after I finished the shadows here on Menfu, I did the highlights on Lara, and that's pretty much it. That's the end of the drawing. And after putting it through the Pokemon card generator, presto, one Lara's Mienfoo straight out of the oven. And if you want to take a look at this card just a little bit closer, you can always follow me on Instagram at Cisco_TCG. That's going to wrap it up for this video, but let me know down in the comment section what are the characters you would like to see as Pokemon trainers. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.